Hello everybody, good evening, good morning, good evening. You're welcome to another weekly outlook for the 26th of September till the 30th of 26th to 30th of September 2022 with Grey White FX. So without taking too much of your time, let's get down into the chart and see what the upcoming week has for us. So as always, we're going to start with the calendar. So looking into the new week, this is what we have for the new week. Nothing heavy, not much of a heavy impact news compared to last week, which was very interesting. So now getting into the chart, we're going to start with the NASDAQ. So looking at the NASDAQ from the weekly, we can see that this is pretty bearish, and there is a high possibility that this low might be the next target. This low might be the next target going into the new week, because if you look at price from the daily, it made a lower low. So most likely going into the new week, price may need to retrace a bit to make a second lower high, then before sweeping this liquidity. So if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, a little bit of a retracement. On the 4-hour time frame, this is basically your daily range from this high to this low. From this high to this low. So if you put in your annotation, this is what you basically have. So you have this high, this is the previous week's high, this is the previous week's low. So most likely we might see a little bit of a retracement into this swing low here. There's a swing low here that was broken by price. This level here, that's at 11,456. So there might be the possibility that price may retrace to it. If it gets rejected, then we might see price gone for any of these lows below price. So the NASDAQ, long term, NASDAQ is still bearish. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the dollar index. So for this, we're looking at the dollar index. The dollar index is still very bullish. But if we look to the monthly time frame and look at the extreme left, we'll find out that we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, and this is a mitigation, a bearish mitigation. And if you notice, price has not come in here. This was created in 2001, I believe. 2002, 2001. Price has not come up to that point. And if we look at where price is basically at that level now. Then if you go down to the weekly time frame, I think price is at the structure also on the weekly time frame. Let's go to the extreme left. Well, not really. But price is at this area on the weekly time frame. So looking at this structure point here, there is a great possibility that we might see a little bit of retracement on price. There is a possibility that we might see a little bit of retracement on price and a continuation. As you can see, this is still very much to the upside. Still very much to the upside. So if it retraces, we have this bullish order block here. If it acts as support, then we might see price run for 115.34 area. That's the next swing high on price. But should price start to drop and take out the previous week's low, then we might see a deeper retracement for either of this. But mind you, the entire daily range from the daily is this point to this most recent high. So these 2 points are what you would refer to as internal range liquidity. So looking at the dollar index, it's still bullish. Any opportunity of retracement will be an opportunity to go long. So you'll be looking at this other block here for a possible support and a continuation to the upside. So the next we are going to look at is EURUSD. The EURUSD is still very much bearish. Still very much bearish. As you can see, it has broken this swing low here and closed below it. But if we look at where price is now, let's move to the extreme left. If we look at where price is at this moment, you see there's a consolidation here, and then there is a fair value gap between this point and this point. There's a fair value gap between this point and this point, and then we come back down to where we are and see that price is just slightly at that point. So there exists a possibility that price may spike into this area and retrace a bit, because price needs to retrace a bit before moving back down. It may not do that, but we just need to see a little bit of a corrective move, because you can't sell at this area. To not be advisable. Selling at this point will not be to your best interest. So you need to wait for price to retrace a bit, then a continuation to the downside. So the next we are going to be looking at is GBPUSD. This pair fell out of the skies last week, just continually. On I think on Friday, it did almost excuse me, trying to find the daily time frame. Okay, this is it. Okay, on Friday it did 434 pip drop in one day. That's pretty much. So there's a possibility we might see a retracement on this pair. The possibility is that we can see a retracement on this pair. And if we look to the left on this pair, I don't think it has come down to this point in a long while. It hasn't come down to this point in a long while. There's nothing basically to the left. So this is like what you refer to as uncharted territories for this pair. It has taken out this low. So we might see a little bit of a retracement before a continuation to the upside. So we'll just need to wait and see what Monday brings along in price. So for the GBPUSD, it's still to the downside. The next one we're going to be looking at is gold. Gold is bearish, still pretty much bearish. So for this pair, let's look at it from the weekly point of view. Look at it from the weekly point of view. We can see that this swing lows price has closed below it. So we have a mitigation here, a high, a low, and a lower high. So if we look at this on the daily time frame, there exists a possibility that price may retrace a bit. This low has been broken, so whenever a significant level is broken, there is often a little bit of a retracement before a continuation in the direction of the break. So that's what we might see. So if you put in your annotations, you're going to have something like this. So price may retrace up to this level, then if it gets rejected, it might move lower. So for gold is still bearish. Next we are going to be looking at is EURGBP. This pair is bullish for now. It's pretty much bullish. Let's go to if we look at this pair, this high has been taken out. All this consolidation, price has moved above it. But where price is now on the weekly, and see there's a bearish order blocker, and there's a fair value gap there. Let me hide that. There's a fair value gap there, and price is just within that level. So this may cause a little bit of a pullback. This might cause a little bit of a pullback on price. If we look at price, we have this entire structure here. So once this price retraces and this holds as support, then we might see a continuation to the upside. So we'll just need to wait and see what Monday brings along in price for the EURGBP. The next pair we're going to look at, as you can see, price is making higher lows and higher highs. So for now, this price is still tilted to the upside. So we need to see a little bit of a retracement and a continuation back to the upside. So the next we are going to be looking at is GBPCHF. This pair is heavily bearish for now. It's in uncharted areas. To the left, there's almost no data, which means it hasn't come down to this place in a long while. So for this pair, it has broken this swing low here. So there is a possibility we might see a little bit of a rally and then a continuation back to the downside. But should price go above this previous week's high, which is at 11.49, then we might see a short-term low here, or wherever it forms, then we might see a continuation back to the upside of price. So for the yen pairs, I'm going to use the yen basket. For the yen pairs, I'm going to use the yen basket. Looking at the yen basket, you can see that this has there's a break in market structure here. And as you can see, it's a pullback. So we're in a retracement between this high to this low. So if you put your feet, you have something like this. Price is just moving into premium on this pair. Price is just moving into premium on this pair. So how high can this go? Well, basically I can't see. Already, it's taking liquidity at this high. If it pulls back and finds support, because as you can see, it's in a retracement. So the next level of target might either be 7858, 7858 or 830, either of these levels on price. But for now, short term, the yen is bullish. So what does that mean? If you look at your pound yen, the pound yen, if you notice last week, it did drop heavy. That was as a result of the Bank of Japan coming into the market. So as you can see, these lows here, they've been cleared out. And where price is, there's a possibility we might see a retracement to either of these broken swing lows and then a continuation to the downside. So the yen pair is going into the new week. We might see a little bit of a retracement before a continuation back down to the downside. So that settles it coming into this new week. I wish everybody a blessed and wonderful week ahead. Do subscribe if you find the video interesting. Do subscribe and click on the like button and also the notification icon so that you'll get notified when we have new postings. So I wish everybody a beautiful weekend and a blessed trading week ahead. Thank you.